Hello guys, welcome back to Inside My Head. Sorry about my long absence. I was enjoying my holidays a little bit and had some family time and all the rest of that. And now we are back in business and we mean business. So this is Inside My Head at its finest, and I decided to start today with a D4 game because I'm normally an E4 player and I play mostly E4, so I wanted to please those who play D4 openings. This is the Slav defense, expecting either takes or pawn E6. They are both very different in nature. Pawn takes C4 is the classical Slav, and bishop F5 is a classical mistake in this setup. And I do teach the classical Slav to not most of my students, but many of my students. And this is the first mistake that I teach them not to make, and yet they still do it all the time. The correct move in this position is taking the pawn first, and then because of black is threatening to hang on to it with b5, I need to prevent that by playing a4, and only then bishop f5. The problem with bishop f5 is that now after takes, pawn takes, I have got a very strong queen b3 that attacks b7, and there is no convenient way to actually deal with that threat. So this is a rare occasion when we do give up the tension, but as per always, only because we have got something to gain out of it. And the trick that most people overlook here is that queen b6, that is the stock standard way to meet this threat down to the b7 pawn, is now not working because I have knight d5, and if then the queen takes my queen, then I can insert a check before I retake on b3, thereby winning a pawn. So that's the plan. If queen c7, then bishop f4 is a very powerful trick, other than the fact that most pawns are hanging still for free. But queen c7, bishop f4 is super strong, and if the queen takes the bishop, I get to take here and the rook. Queen d7, that keeps an eye on this and that, at the same time very awkwardly is met by knight e5, which is almost an auto win for me. So the least of the evils are bishop c8 back, which is really a very sad move to make, and normally leads to very quick disasters after bishop f4, or normally just queen b6, knight d5, knight takes, queen takes, and then pawn e6, and then black can hope for some very vague counterplay for the pawn. But this is an ultimate trick not to fall for, and so if you play the Slav, you must take on c4 first, and when a4 comes to prevent b5, that's when you play bishop f5 with the intention of stopping e4. Right now I really don't know what to do or what to say, because it seems like we are cruising for victory. So it's exactly following the planned path. Queen b6, knight takes d5. So once again, the trick is if they take the queen, I take the knight with check first, and then do I take back here. Queen a5 check is harmless because I can drop the knight back. And as I said, knight takes, queen takes, pawn e6 is what I would do as black. But even there, after queen retreats to b3, bishop b4 check, bishop d2, it's happy days for me. So we are following exactly what I told you we would do. Bishop check is going to come, bishop d2, bishop takes, and I'm actually thinking there if I would be better off taking that back with the king, which at first sight looks like sacrilege, but it isn't really. Because I have a line there in my head where I'm a little bit concerned, and that is bishop b4 check, bishop d2, bishop takes, knight takes. Okay, that was really bad, and then knight c6. So basically knight c6, knight b4, knight c2 is a little bit awkward to meet. But now he just messed that one up really big time for himself, because now after knight c6 I have got e3, and if knight b4, then I can sneak in this check, and that allows me to connect my pieces and get out of all this mess. He might want to play for bishop c2 to regain this pawn here. That's the alternative. But for the time being, I have bishop c4 on the ready. And so yeah, I'm not particularly worried. If bishop somewhere, maybe bishop d6, then I can consider something like bishop d2 followed by rook c1 to preempt bishop c2 as well as knight a5 by putting the bishop on the diagonal. GG! We are already in the driving seat, heavily in the lead. And think about what else could happen, but yeah, not an awful lot. Mensob from Brazil. Yeah, I'm somewhat surprised that the 2200 player would forget his theory on move 4. That's, yeah, a little bit awkward. I don't know if he's pondering about knight b4 now. I would think he probably is, and cursing his luck for the fact that bishop b5 check is covering everything for me. But this never has anything to do with luck, to be fair. Or very rarely anyway. Yeah, so knight c6 here would have been infinitely better. Although even then... Yeah, because then if I take pawn takes back, that means that his rook has got some pressure on my pawn too. So in an analogous line, if I play e3, knight here, bishop b5 check, yeah, I'm still way ahead. So... yeah, I suppose it didn't really matter which way he went. I'm hoping he's still there and he didn't fall asleep or something. Okay, what else could he do here other than knight b4, which is clearly not working, or bishop d6, which I would describe as best move for black? Not much else. So bishop d2, I'm thinking bishop... so bishop d6, bishop d2, king e7, and this bishop should go somewhere. Probe c4. And then king e2, and then occasionally I can swing back and start playing for e4. Yeah, I quite like that. So yeah, my next few moves should be bishop here, king up, rook across. If I could do that, that would be really, really awesome. Ideal piece setup for all of my pieces. Okay, so we opted for that. So now we're stuck in the check. I'm tossing up between king up or castles. Yeah, I feel happier and safer with castles. King e2 feels like it shortens the diagonal of this bishop to a dangerous degree. And although after a6 he's not threatening to take the bishop, but yeah, I just feel safer this way because he has made another huge concession by putting the king in front of his bishop. So me having to tuck away my king, even though I would have preferred to keep it in the center, is not a biggie. I'm fine. I'm good. And if the knight comes in, I can just simply play rook a4. And again, a6 is not even a threat. So I can just continue developing, and when the rook moves away, I drop the bishop back to e2. And it's all good. All good. Yeah, this looks like struggle land for black now. Which is a direct consequence of a misplayed opening. f6, okay, so he wanted to deny my knight coming in to either of these things, and he wants to play king f7 pretty much regardless of what I do. So my number one go-to would be bishop d2 followed by rook fc1, and I'm almost certain that that is the very best thing I can do. simply because, yeah, my pieces are not playing, so I bring them to the party. That's what my coach told me to do. Bring your dudes to the party. I am. No worries. Alrighty, dude to the party. Now I'm threatening to penetrate here, which is almost unstoppable because if bishop d6, then I can take and go in and take. He can't drop back. a6 is still not threatening. If knight c2, then I will still play rook a4, and then I have the threat of rook c4, trapping the knight. Good stuff. I'm quite happy the way this game is going. I would like to also point out to you again the triumph of development. All of my pieces are on their very best squares. I mean, given the potential, or rather the possibilities I have had, because of course I would much rather have this rook already in there, and yeah, like there is a way for improving this position for sure for white, but for the time being, all my pieces are out and they're all on meaningful squares. Happy days. One thing I didn't consider here was knight d5, in which case I think my move would be knight h4, actively hunting the bishop, and at the same time getting ready for f3 e4, kicking the knight out and occupying the center. In fact, knight h4 is part of my plans anyway, but because of this is much more strong. Much stronger. I'm struggling here. Way stronger. That was the one. Way stronger. Therefore, I was not really looking at knight h4. But now, because of the knight on d5 denies my main threat, I need to look elsewhere. And knight h4 is ticking all the possible boxes because this is his best piece. So eliminating it would immediately give me a winning position if I could take it there. If it were to move back, then I can take and play e4, kicking the knight out, allowing me to penetrate, allowing me to conquer a large chunk of the center. GG. Now the problem with this move is that it almost immediately loses because of this pin. In fact, it does lose immediately. So takes, bishop c4, and he can't defend this piece any other way than king here, and after rook a5 the knight drops. So whilst that might have been a bit too quick for some, I don't know, it was obvious to me that he could never ever allow this to happen because this pin is just so powerful, and he's going to resign now. There's no way to defend the knight. I mean, he can delay it by playing b5, and after rook takes, this is Gonski. That was a bit abrupt finish, but yeah, as I said, even if he had gone back here to g6, rook takes, pawn takes, and then pawn e4, followed by penetration would have meant the end. Anyway, he did play b5 instead of resigning. That's interesting. These are the moves when I'm wondering what do you exactly expect will happen, that I will not take it, but actually that you take my free bishop, or I don't know. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but this is just like, really? Alright, so do we want a rematch? He's offering a rematch. Let's do a rematch. It wasn't exactly a very instructive game anyway, because I exploited a mistake in the opening, took a free pawn, and then I just won. Okay, don't do this, because this makes your openings remarkably one-sided. And dumb too, because this is by default not a good opening. Oh god. Okay, so when you see yourself doing this, just tell yourself that no, this is not okay. This is a theoretical line. It's possible. It's people do it, and yet it's just something that you ought not to do. But it's very good for me because I get to demonstrate how to play openings properly. So f3 was played with the intention of getting e4 in, which has been denied. So now he's looking like a goose with these pawns. He has played knight c3, which means that he can't have pawn c4 anymore. So he has no way to now contest my center at all. Because e4 is not working and c4 is not going to be happening. I am already contesting his d4 pawn by playing c5. And there is a realistic chance that in the long run I may even be able to contest it with e5. My pieces are already far more meaningfully developed than his. Reconnecting, that's a bit awkward. And yeah, I have no problems here at all. Like, he posed zero opening issues to me. And also, please note that I deflected his opening ambitions, in particular playing e4, by playing supernatural moves. So it's not like I'm standing already better on move 5 as black because I am and he's not. It's because I'm putting my pieces where they need to go, and I'm not playing awkward pawn moves that may or may not work, and in case they don't, they are the worst possible move on the board. So now he has to compromise by either playing bishop d3 or playing g4, bishop back, and then knight e2, knight f4, but it's all very far-fetched and yeah, just not right at all. Also, queen b6 is going to be again a theme in this opening because I can very awkwardly attack both of these. So, good luck you, is all I can say. Good luck you. He may chuck in h4 now, but again, both h6 and h5 are totally fine. Totally fine. I'm actually not quite sure which one I would play. That's actually a good question, whether I would go h6 or h5. Yeah, probably h5 actually. Yeah, h5 will be the move. Because after either he's going to take, and I want to take back with the g, and if I had played h6 then he would have h5, bishop back, bishop d3 potentially. Actually, I am totally fine there too. Yeah, it's really a choice between good and even better. So let me just talk you through this move by move. So d4, knight f6, knight c3. This is not meant to be a move here because if he doesn't get to play e4, then he loses his means to attack the center. That's why almost inevitably in this position white plays c4 first. So knight c3, and he played knight e2, okay. So I'm just going to develop now without even thinking much. e6, covering the pawn, opening up the bishop. There's no way I could have played a better move than that. So he then plays bishop g5 with the intention of taking me, which is already rubbish, and then play e4. Now I denied that by playing bishop f5. He then played f3, which is like the ugliest move ever because the knight can't come here, and actually e4 is still not threatened. Bishop takes and e4 maybe, but that's not really again ideal, and I immediately strike in the center. Please take note of this. This is how good chess is played. The first time your opponent plays a dodgy move, you immediately seek revenge and vengeance. You need to go in hardcore. Okay, so now it's time to think. Actually, the funny bit now is that after, for example, h6 takes, I may even take back with the queen. Huh. That's quite interesting that I can do that. Because he's banking on me playing h6 takes, pawn takes, and then knight f4 is a somewhat awkward of a tempo. Although even that is arguable because after takes, pawn takes, queen b6, knight takes, pawn takes, I think I'm totally a-okay. But yeah, bishop takes, I reckon I can take with the queen. Why wouldn't I if I can? I quite like that actually. Right. Okay. That is a bit of a shock to me, to be perfectly honest, because that's where I thought this knight wanted to go. Okay, I've got a few moves in my head now. Bishop d6 is one of them, which seems to contradict what I just said because it helps them to bring the knight to the 4. But still, it helps me to go for e5. So that's one of the moves on the cards. Number 2 is queen b6, which I'm very, very tempted to do. Yeah, I reckon it's gonna be queen b6. Putting pressure here and here. I also have knight b4 here. But after rook c1, I don't see any immediate benefit. So let's just go queen b6. I like this. I like to be attacking. I like to be aggressive. I like to put pressure on awkward spots. Let's do that. If knight a4, then I have got this check here, hitting the king and the knight. He has to play c3, and then all of his pieces are on the most awkward squares possible. If he chooses to play rook b1, then I can continue developing by rook c8. Knight b4 is a threat. I can simply play bishop e7 and castle. Yeah, the options are, yeah, there. The options are there, and they are numerous. Oh, plentiful. That's a beautiful English word. Plentiful. I don't really want to take on d4 unless I can really gain something very, very clearly positive out of it. So for example, after rook b1, in my head I was going through some lines with takes, and bishop b4. And I'm still convincing myself if that's something I would describe as enough to get out of this to justify the take on d4, because I still have lots of developing moves that are very useful, including rook c8, bishop e7, yeah, those are definitely there. Probably I would just go bishop e7 actually, because I find it difficult to see, there we go, how he wants to develop. Like, the only thing I can see is to put this bishop here, which is not exactly beautiful. Yeah, rook b1 is a sad move. The only other thing that I'm thinking about is whether I want to play bishop e7 and rook c8, because in some variations this bishop will come later to the 4 with bishop b4 in one go. So I'm considering, whereas the rook is definitely going to belong to c8. Yeah, I'm going to actually go with this first. I want to make him guessing at, for one thing, about what my intentions are, and two, as I said, this bishop, I'm not quite sure whether it's going to go to e7 or further out on the diagonal should I decide to take this. I'm calculating a rather interesting line which goes with, let's say, bishop g2, c takes d4, pawn takes d4, knight b4, hitting c2, only way to guard it is rook here, and then knight takes a2, knight takes a2, and queen takes b2. And I just can't see how we can defend this knight here. Maybe knight c3. Rook takes, knight takes, queen takes, queen d2. And I may not have enough there. I have a feeling that I should have some sort of tactics here. And that's why I'm looking at very aggressive and violent moves. Actually, I'm thinking maybe knight b4, rook here right away without inserting the tag, because it allows them to bring the bishop back. So knight here, rook here, knight takes, queen takes is what I'm looking at now. And if knight back, that's when I could take, but then rook b1. Okay, maybe this doesn't work. I don't know. I'm a bit reluctant to give up on it already, but seems like I can't quite make it happen. Knight b4, rook c1, queen a5. Castles, knight a2, rook there, knight takes. Okay, so I'm looking at knight b4, rook c1, queen a5. That means the knight threatens knight takes a2. If a3, then I can go in. That's pretty cool. And if castles, knight takes a2, queen takes a2. Don't try it at home, kids. Rook a1, that's a bit. So if knight takes rook a1, knight takes here, knight takes back. Yeah, I'm not so sure. It looks like we're losing some initiative there. And initiative is my best friend. Okay. I'm a bit stuck now here. I have a very promising position and I want to make sure that I get the most out of it. And my time is also ticking away awkwardly. I feel like I need to hit this iron now while it's hot, because if he castles away, it feels like I will have less pressure on these soft spots than what I do now. Should I stay or should I go? Okay. Since I couldn't find anything better than this, I decided to develop my pieces, because a new plan formulated in my head that I didn't speak out loud, which was that if he castles here, which I expect he would do, then I will play knight d7. which becomes necessary anyway because knight a4 and knight takes c5 is sort of turning out to be a threat sooner or later. So castles knight d7 hitting the pawn, pawn h5, bishop back, and now my plan is to play bishop f6, again exerting extra pressure onto the crucial d4 pawn, hopefully forcing them into take, and then knight takes back, and we are looking really good. This is what I'm hoping. I think that's a pretty decent plan. I really don't like the fact that I need to go backwards in order to go forward, and I'm preaching against it very strongly, but I couldn't make any of these tactics work as much as I wanted to, and they may have been a bit too hasty given that part of my army was still at home, undeveloped, king in the middle. So yeah, I feel comfortable with what I'm doing now fully again, which is really good. What I really don't feel comfortable about is that Google AdSense is something that I can't possibly get in touch with. They keep on sending me emails and I can't contact them in any useful forms. They don't respond to emails. So if any of you guys know how to get in touch with Google AdSense about payments, that would be really cool. King f2, wow. Makes sense, because unlike after castles, now if I play knight d7, which I think I still will do, h4 is not hanging. But I wanted to come here, so I will, because my plan is to play bishop f6 and then pinch this. And also, on occasion, I may be able to play for e5 if the pressure on d5 is a little bit released. Should I stay or should I go? Now this got stuck in my head. Do I really have a threat with bishop here though? It's a big question, because then g5 might push me back. So I am not 100% sure yet if I do have that threat. Maybe he's gonna play queen d2 to connect the rooks. I might play, I don't know. I don't know. Queen d2, I was looking at stuff like, oh, he has played a move, has he? No. Queen d2, I was looking at takes knight e5, because the pawn is pinned to the king, so that I can go on to c4, but after takes knight here, I think knight a4 is quite annoying. So I can't do that yet. Perhaps queen a5 is legit now, creating a pin on that knight, but again, it's rather theoretical. With bishop f6, that's my biggest concern, that the bishop f6 is strongly meant by this. Takes, and takes. And if I take here, he takes my queen, rook. This turned out to be quite a good strategical battle, and despite of all my bragging and talking about how not to play an opening like this, I couldn't quite refute it as easily as I was hoping to, or in fact I couldn't refute it at all, not yet. Actually, I'm still thinking take knight e5. Maybe b3 is annoying there. Bishop b4. a3. It's getting very wild. Okay, I will just castle. Castle is very good to the soul and to your king's safety. And why wouldn't I? He doesn't have a kingside attack after all. If g5, h5, if h5, I'll just drop back. This must be a little bit annoying for him, that it looks like he has an attack and he doesn't. Maybe a good plan, as much as I can hate myself for saying this, would be to play a6, move the queen, b5. Yeah. Let's do that. Especially because removing the queen from here would also mean that when I play e5, this can't be captured. So potentially I should have played here queen a5, creating this pin, which I was thinking about, but what I didn't think about was that it might have enabled me to play e5 takes knight back, although queen can take, but that doesn't really bother me. Maybe it should. I don't know. Oh, well, that's also on the cards, at least we know that now. But I still don't know what sort of plan he's hoping to pursue. Wow. King g3. That was one heck of a move. Okay, no time. I want to be aggro, so I'm going to go for this. Which was super stupid, because now I could have played bishop f6, because g5 takes here would have won for me. Maybe not, because of pawn takes back hits the queen. Booyah! Okay. So do I have a threat now? I really don't know. E5 takes, knight takes, queen takes d5, rook d1. Looks very good for me. Looks very, very good for me. So potentially e5 is in the air. Yep, that's the call. So thumbs up for everything I have done so far. Because yeah, I think I managed to maintain an advantage, and now we are putting the pressure on eventually breaking the center. I'm very proud of myself for playing like this. After takes knight takes b4 breaks this pin, but that's costing too much, so that's not gonna happen. So once again, queen takes rook, he nearly traps the queen actually, for the record. And after queen b3 back, I have got a variety of very tempting choices. Rook d2 looks very juicy, hitting this pawn. Pawn c4 looks very juicy. So this is where I know that game in the pocket scenario is present, because yeah, he's moving the queen back and forth, the position is opening up, his king is not safe. So this is when we take a deep breath and we start thinking about how to finish it off. c4, queen b7 surely loses the queen after rook b8, right? Has to. Yep, good. c4, queen b5. Queen takes, knight takes, bishop takes c2. Looking super tempting. But I may even be able to drop back. I would love to be able to do that and then play for a6 again, trapping the queen. The alternative of all this is to play rook d2 right away. Maybe rook c1. I can't see an immediately winning tactics there. My only issue with this is that it temporarily gives up the d4 square and the knight may be able to come back, but yeah, whatever. Let's just go forward. Let's just go forward. Yep, as per expected. So my only dilemma is now whether to come back here or not. I find that I'm a little bit reluctant to put myself in this pin. That's my only worry, plus knight d5. So if knight d5 I would have to take, queen takes, rook d8, queen back, a6, queen a4. Holy cow, it looks like we're very close. b5, queen a6. Queen back, knight d5. Actually, I can go queen b8 there. I don't know. This looks a little bit messy. No, I want complications. I don't want to solve queens. Everything seems to be perfect for me to be able to pull this off. So I will give it a go. Oh man! What the have I found? Look at that. Knight d5, rook takes, queen takes, rook d8, queen back to b5, bishop takes c2. And the point is not that it attacks the rook. It takes away the square from the queen. So if the rook moves, a6, and I want the queen. Oh, what a motive! Wow! Awesomeness! Let's do this. Wow, this is really, really cool. If it's true. Like after queen b5, bishop takes c2, he will have to do something else rather than moving the rook, because then a6 traps the queen in a spectacular fashion. That is so cool. I'm so glad that I listened to my instinct instead of my calculation, and I went for this instead of the endgame with queen b5. Totally missed this one. Shivers. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Whilst I did miss this, shame on me, I don't think it's still survivable for white. The point of rook d2 is that now I'm threatening to take the queen, and when he takes my queen, I take the piece. And by playing here, I also added additional threats to c2, and so on. d4, wow. So now I'm very tempted to do something like bishop here. That would make his queen hang, and it would add extra tension. Oh man, I'm so excited about this game. It's such a pity that I don't have enough time. I was also tempted to look at this queen sack. Knight d4, queen c7, knight d2 check. No, it's not realistic. Okay, let's go with this. So now queen is hanging, and bishop e2 I think is borderline losing to takes, and then he falls apart. I was looking at mostly queen c3, against which I wanted to take here, followed by knight c4. I can't quite do that. Can I do knight c4 right away? Yep, I can. Knight c4 is a really cool move, but I'm not sure if that's the only way to do this. Because knight d4, queen takes d2, and I don't seem to be able to increase the pressure there. Alright, knight c4. Point of knight c4 is that if queen takes, then I can take, rook takes, hitting the queen and threatening with queen takes f4, which is a wrap up. If bishop takes d6, then queen takes d6, and again the king situation has become what's the right word, critical. So yeah, we are going along. I was also looking at starting with this, but I don't think it's that great. So we are just going to go with this. And now he can't stop queen f4. So eventually I managed to turn this game into me being an exchange down and a pawn down. But all my pieces are just awesome and his king is without shelter. I'm pretty sure that this should be winning for me. Especially because a move like queen e2 seems to be adding fuel to the fire. Because after queen f4, king h3, I have rook d2. Or first, potentially some other aggressive moves like h5, f5, but rook d2 is definitely pending. So check. King there, probably h5. Yeah, so now I'm threatening with takes and further opening up the king, and if he takes, it's already mate here. And also, what I didn't see was that rook d1, which would be a very good way to try to neutralize, also fails to check, 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 and hitting the rook. Wow, it is really a great pity that I humbled a fair bit in the middle game, and because of I wasted so much time, I didn't have the opportunity to explain the tactics. Now I don't really feel like doing anything. I just want him to feel the pressure. So takes, 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 king h2, queen h4, queen across is already looking very promising. But what I am thinking is that I would love to do knight e5 here. The only problem is that this check covers there. Take the queen h g4, rook there, queen h. Yeah, to be honest, I'm guilty of being a little bit lazy here. Yeah, I should go with this. Because what I noticed was that if he blocks this after queen back, I will have 17 zillion threats. There, and now knight e5 with knight g4 should be also deadly. I'm a bit, yeah, I've got mixed feelings. Oh, I missed queen h3 here. About this because I didn't have enough time to calculate it all the way, and consequently it has become a little bit wobbly. Like now I'm winning because I have got the 2 pawns for the exchange, but these two. But this was not good. Yeah, that was a bit of a pity. That I couldn't convert it with more ease. Okay, I'm cool. We're going to summon that knight in there. So rook c1, rook c7 is what I'm expecting now. And I'm thinking about what the best way is to deal with that. Because I would like to get these pawns rolling as soon as possible. Yeah, probably I will go in. Especially because then rook f2 loses to rook takes, king takes, knight d3, check and fork. That was super random. Improving our king, hitting the rook. Yeah, I don't quite understand why he did that. So now I'm just coming at him. Once again, rook c1 has been taken care of because of knight d3. And he can't pin me because I have this check. So again, his best move is not available. And that is always a good feeling when you know that your opponent's best move, or the move that you fear the most, is not playable. I also have the regroup of the knight here, as well as f5, and then planting the knight here. Okay, so why is this move not winning for me now? I don't get it. He has this. No, he doesn't. Never mind me. Yeah, okay, so either rook here or rook here, they both lose to check. And then I will take the rook that was left on prey. So, yeah, that's a bit of an awkward finish, but the whole game was full on awkwardness. Because of... yeah, I didn't have the time to calculate the epic finish off in the end. I mean, I saw a few quick tricks that were very important and crucial to get there, but yeah, I wasn't overly happy with my performance. Okay, so in reality now I should rely on these two and let these go. But at the same time, the other part of me says don't give them any counterplay. So good luck with deciding what I want to do now, right? Okay, so funnily enough, I feel that the best move I can play here is king here. Which basically means that if they choose to go for these two, then my pawns are going to be way faster than his. If he chooses to go for this, then I have an improved version of this one, because had I played check here and then taken his pawn, he could have brought his king towards the center. So I took that option away from him now by playing king f4. So now he goes for these pawns, which means that mine are rolling in like crazy. And in fact, if he takes, I'll go check and take that. Not so much because of it's an extra pawn, but because it ruins his king forever. So I'm expecting maybe here, I don't know. No, okay, check takes, this is game over here. I'm very proud of that move, king f4. That was really cool. Because you can see now I'm immediately reaping the benefits in that he has to go back. Can't go forward. So it's not about the pawn so much, it's much more about the fact that this king is so dead that now whilst I am pushing my pawn and king up, it will come together with very nasty mate threats. He's gonna push, and then I'm just going to start pushing this dude. Okay, interesting stuff. So what you need to know about this is that connected pass pawns are absolutely unstoppable if they have the support of your king. So even if he goes check, I will just drop back here. I don't understand what he's doing. And yeah, I will hide between these pawns all the time, and I'll push them forward, supporting one another. The reason why I chose to separate them here, because now I'm already threatening to play g2, and those pawns are not going to be stoppable. And now I just play f5, plan king here, pawn up, pawn up. It's as simple as that, and it's not stoppable. If he gives a check, I go up there. If he goes back check, I come here. Okay, I can totally ignore this pawn, and for the sake of demonstrating the plan here, I will ignore the pawn. Although, strategically speaking and technically speaking, best move would have been rook a2. But I want to show you the power of these two pawns and the way how, basically they represent a force that is impossible to deal with. So here, 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 here. And I'm not scared. Here, checkmate. That's it. It's simply unstoppable. And at any point I could go behind, but once again, I'm trying to demonstrate a point here. Now he's going to give a check, and once again the ultimate rule that I get to tuck my king away. So now he's waiting for me to push. so that my king loses hiding spots. The sad news, however, is that when you have got two connected pass pawns, you don't need your king around the pawns to be able to nurse them home and get a queen. So what's going to happen now is that he's going to give another check. I'll come here, he's going to give another check, and I will just come down here and close to his rook. And he will have to go back because mate is threatened. So it's not like when there is only one pawn here, when the rook just goes back and then you lose that pawn and consequently the game is drawn, and consequently this whole checking scenario is a drawing opportunity. Not at all. You're dead, dude, because this is mate here. And in order to get that out of that mate, you will have to make some very ugly concessions. This is a very rare case when the king is not even needed to get a new queen. Because after rook d1, I will just swing across here, check, okay, king there, check, king here, and check. Wins. Could have, by the way, chosen to hide my king, so here a totally fine move would have been pawn up, check, king here, and king up. And if the check comes from the side, I block with the pawn. If the check comes from here, I move here, and now check, checkmate is unstoppable. And that's it. So now he can't stop me going, well, he has to stop the mate. So king here is almost forced, and then check, and then check, and that's it. Alrighty, folks. I would really love to analyze this, but this was such a long game. And such a long video. The things that I really loved about this game started here, when I took over the initiative at the cost of a pawn, and it's a really shame on me for not seeing this. That was super embarrassing, to be perfectly honest. But the thing is that even by blundering that, I allowed something to happen that was beneficial to me, I believe, because after rook d2, which I think was a really powerful move, rook c2 and the threat of taking the queen limited his chances very badly, and after knight d4, bishop d6 I think was another excellent attacking move, because I already envisaged that, yes, this king is now all of a sudden my #1 target. And here knight c4 was another awesome tactics that I saw fairly quickly that it would work. Now the knight is protected, so the rook is protected, and now the diagonal is opening up to a deadly effect. I think you should have taken this here. Wow. Oh, actually. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe rook here. And I should be okay here too. Knight takes e3 is a beautiful move, but sadly it doesn't work. The idea would have been that if he takes, the knight take and queen takes, and then rook g2 wins the queen. But it doesn't work, probably for a lot of reasons. The #1 is that if he takes here after bishop f4, king here, I can't see a finish off, can I? No, I can't actually. I mean, it would be awesome to do something like knight takes, queen check, takes, and checkmate. But I don't think it would happen. So after knight g4, what's his best move? Probably start with check. So if queen takes, he can take me here, so I have to go here. And maybe just keep the queen around. I don't know, this is fascinating stuff. Like, I'm still threatening with mate. Oh wow, this is so cool. Like, this position had a lot of tactical potential here, and that's why I was a bit upset that I didn't have enough time here left. Yeah, to actually calculate the lines. I don't know if this is legit. I don't think it is. Like, I'm sure that the computer would prove me wrong here. But for entertainment value, that move is just sheer awesomeness. I really do like it actually. Okay, so maybe check here. Queen takes and then queen takes. Can I punish this king now? It doesn't feel like I can. This king takes. I'm just one move short of a mate, but yeah, that one move is a problem. Okay, it's takes. Yeah, I don't have it. So what was it? 97 check here is a countermeasure. And I can't allow the queen swap because rook g2 is not mate. Oh, isn't that a heartbreaker? This would have been so awesome. So I don't actually know. So maybe after knight takes c6, I'm in a bit of a trouble here. Maybe rook takes c2. Queen here. Yeah, I don't know. This would require some very deep computer analysis. Because I'm not good enough for it. Yeah, but this was yeah, quite a mess for sure. And queen takes c4 was, I think, the losing move. And here, I don't know. Once again, I really wanted to play knight e5. That's what my guts told me to do, but I didn't see what to do against check here and rook d1. That's why I didn't go for this line. Can we see an immediate win here? Okay, take, check. This looks super strong. King back, check. Okay, so that was the one I missed. So my gut feeling was correct that I needed to bring this knight into the fray by knight e5. Instead I went to take, and here I totally missed check and here. So potentially rook g4 was a good move here, with the intention of increasing the pressure. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I think that at this point the game has become very inaccurate and full of mistakes. And yeah, even here, instead of rook c1, if he had played something just a little bit more sensible, rook c2 perhaps, whilst it's a win for black, I would have had to work for it harder than I needed in the game in this rook ending, which had an instructive finish, but not really. Yeah, for the record, I think this was not the fastest win. Fastest win here is check. King is forced to come here and king up. And this is really awesome because it threatens with mate. So the two ways to deal with it is check, but that fails to f3, and now mate and mate can't be stopped. And if the check comes from here, then I tuck the king behind the pawn on f4, and now checkmate can't be stopped, other than rook takes g2 that loses on the spot. But I wanted to show you the power of the two connected pass pawns. That's why I pushed them and moved my king away to demonstrate that, yeah, there is nothing to be done here, because king here, f2 here, check here, and you take the rook and then queen and then queen and then queen. Alrighty folks, that's all. It was a fairly intense video. I think it will be huge, but hopefully it had something valuable for you to learn from. And I'll be back with more soon. Thanks, bye.